You are listening to Something Rather Than Nothing. Creator and host, Ken Vellante. Editor and producer, Peter Bauer.
This is Ken Vellante with the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast. I'm super excited. I don't know if Keddies Resort, the guest we have on, knows this, but been trying to get Keddies Resort on this show for a bit because I've heard so much about their music and love their music and heard a bunch about the live shows. Joined here by co-host Aiden Vellante. I'm going to ask you, Aiden, to say hello. Listeners, you might remember Aiden from the Fade Tooth episode. Aiden, say a word.
Yo, what's up? My name is Aiden. I've co-hosted once before, so lots of experience. My pronouns are they, them, and yeah.
We're gonna have some fun here. Keddies Resort. You're up there in Portland. I really like the music you're slinging, and I've heard about your shows. But why don't you take just a moment to kind of introduce yourselves, so listeners get to know you. Just your name, your role in the band, and maybe like types of art you like, or whatever. A little bit about you.
For sure. I'm Keddy, singer guitar player for Keddies Resort.
I'm Shifty and I play drums.
And I'm Lefty, bass player and in-house caveman.
Straight up.
Also, thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. We're very, very glad to have you. Art and philosophy program. I have a lot of music, and one really cool thing about the show is a lot of Portland music, a lot of Oregon music. I've had Blackwater Holy Light, kind of psych metal, a Dirty Princess, a lot of kind of folk music, singer-songwriter folk music from Portland. Tell listeners about Keddies Resort. Like, what are you playing, and just kind of like what you're trying to do with your art, with your project, Keddies Resort.
We hop around from bill to bill, either like under a bridge or a legitimate venue with no people there, and we just play fast, I guess, melodic alternative punk shit. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he hit it pretty much on the head. Like, we're just pretty infatuated with playing live, and I think our music, as of recently, this new album is going to reflect that. But we just want to play music that we want to listen to and hopefully put on a good show.
We want to entertain too, so it's like we don't care if it's like sometimes the worst shows you see live are like the most entertaining. So sometimes we'll play a horrible set and we're like, hey man, but they still liked it.
Yeah. I certainly love live music, and speaking of which, part of the reason that I brought Aiden on is he's seen Keddies Resort, and Aiden, I just wanted to ask you some thoughts, or if you have any questions about like what Keddies is up to.
So one of the questions that was kind of came off the top of my head is like, I've noticed that like when y'all play shows, like compared to your studio versions, like it comes out different, like in almost like it's heavier. And I'm just kind of wondering if that's like kind of a deliberate thing, or does that like kind of come with like more of the limitations of playing live, or what? Like,
I don't know. I think if you're recording stuff in like a studio, or in our sense, in like a bedroom on a laptop, there's not like a crowd there to kind of like cheer you on or like reassure you to be like, no, that was good, keep going. Because then if you're recording by yourself and it's bad, then you're just gonna kind of get like, it's not the same energy. But like every time we play live, we just pretty much just like, it's kind of like a play day for us, man. It's fucking fun as shit.
Yeah, I think when you're recording, you can take a lot of liberties with like what you can do sonically. Like you can take a lot of time with layering things and making sure different things are like highlighted. And so when you go to live, especially with only 3 guys, you can reach for that. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do we just deliver the biggest impact possible. And I think we sort of fell into that unintentionally, you know, like we just wanted to put on as energetic and good of a show as we can, you know.
And we all got our own shit going on too, and like personal lives and stuff like that. So it's like that's kind of like a form of like, I don't know, it's kind of like therapeutic to like just let all your shit out, even if it's like bad, having a terrible day.
Yeah.
It's like just knowing like you play a fucking set and like I don't know, just like seeing people like run around in a crowd to like a song that you made in like 15 minutes is like the coolest feeling.
Dude, there's nothing better than getting fired and then like going and playing a show. Dude.
It's like watching a comedian and they say a joke and like they sat there for probably like a week making that joke, but then everyone gives it like it's like one of those jokes where it's like a round of applause. It's like, oh, I made that in 15 minutes and you're fucking just going ham on it. It's like the most gratifying, like best feeling.
Yeah, well,
to make it crazy.
Yeah, well, one of the things, I mean, so the live music experience is the audience, and I haven't been a musician despite a couple weird roads towards accordion and ukulele, but that's a whole other story. Yeah. But I've always been a concert goer, and for me on the emotions and the getting the shit out or getting fired and doing that or whatever's going on in your life, I listen to a lot of styles of music, but like for me, I have a strong preference of like really intense or really heavy doom metal I'm really into, but like really heavy music. And I find not only that it's like the what you get out and the energy that you need to get out, but for me, I noticed something different when I was going to doom shows. That shit was church.
Yeah.
It was like, it was dark and some with the beats and sometimes with the kind of tribal beats with it, and the community. I really like being around the doom metal community, at least in the Pacific Northwest that I've seen. Kind of cool. So it's like everybody's going to music church at the same time. And you see other churchgoers that, so for me is like really not only getting the energy out, but like the community. And I've heard about the getting out of the energy at your shows. What do you do so that the audience feels like they can do that? Is it just the music? Is it like an attitude?
It's really like we always try to bring our best to a show, but it's really all about the audience, because we've really realized in the past like few months how much that relationship between like what the crowd is giving you, you know what I mean, and like your job as a performer, you know, like how much that like impacts you, you know, and what that means. Like it's
call and response, like a call and response, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you could like, even there's times where like we're like feeling like low energy or whatever, and we're like, oh, this show is gonna suck, or like the turnout isn't what it is, and then you get on there and start playing, and like there's like 5 kids that are trying to rip each other's heads off, and it's like, oh, okay, like we're in this, you know. And like it just changes, like it's almost instantaneous, you know.
A lot of bands that I've seen, they kind of have like in their set list, they kind of have like a swell into the energy, either like at the beginning or like halfway or whatever, but that's not really how we do shows. We kind of just hit it with immediate like just like loudness and like energy, which I think some people are expecting, and that's like what a lot of people go to shows for. So, and yeah, just us not really caring about how loud we are definitely contributes to like how much energy we bring.
I think it also helps, like, first of all, like being yourself, like not like you can go up and kind of like perform and kind of just like play a character, but you can also just like be yourself, and that's always the best thing. But it's also like the fact of people like hearing like unreleased music too, and they only know you of like what's released, so they come and see just like something that's like they've never heard before, or maybe their friends are like, hey, have you heard this one song like Plastic Head? Like, nah, man, I haven't heard it. Like, oh, we got to see him live to hear it. I don't know, just like, I don't know, it's a game changer. It's completely different.
Keddies songs are real singable. You know, you can go to like 1 or 2 shows and kind of get the gist of the chorus or like the catchy part, which is a lot of catchy parts.
Dude, thank you, Nirvana.
Thank you,
thank you, Nirvana,
and the Ramones,
and Ramones too.
Yeah, when I first heard Atomic live, like like that definitely like rings true. Just like how the chorus just like will stick in your head. Because Atomic I couldn't get it out of my head for like 2 weeks straight. It's so catchy.
When I joined the band, that was one of the songs that like I was asked to like play drums, and I was kind of expecting some shit, but just that whole Makita album just really got me super stoked to play, and it was exactly right after I graduated, and I needed just to like bash on some things, just to go some direction, and it was like a good decision.
Yeah, all that was like perfect timing too.
Super fun.
It was all perfect timing. As I'm like, I don't know, if I listen back and listen to that, like compared to the new album, the new album's really good, but I know people will like it, but I think it's just the fact we've played it so much where like now I'm kind of just like, I just want to get it the fuck out. But like Makita's like, I don't know, it kind of makes me sad listening to it in like a in like a good way though, because it's like, it's definitely like the album is pretty much just like, every time I listen to it, it's like a memory of me and Lefty's like every time we would just like, before me and him fucking moved out or had girlfriends, and like fucking when we had all the time in the world to just be like, hey man, head over, and he lived 5 minutes away from me, we just recorded the whole fucking thing. Like every weekend, every other day, we'd be like, hey, come over, I got this bass part. And I don't know, Makita's like, it's a sad.
Damn, dude, you're making me shed a tear.
I know.
You gotta relax, dude.
It is kind of sad though.
We're too early in the podcast right now. Come on.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't know about you, but I be listening to our shit all the time, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of had to stop posting my like Spotify top 5. You know how like every January it's like a top 5. I'm always number 1. It's like my own band. I'm like, I can't fucking post this. This is horrible.
Well, I'm not going to admit whether that would show up the same way for podcasts when they those released for mine. I gotta make sure it's all right, and then I'm like, hey, but no, it's really cool to hear to hear the deep connection, in the music that you make, and talking about when it was made in your relation to it, and it's really exciting to hear about. You referenced some new music coming out. Do you want to mention a few words with what you can about like what that is?
Yeah, KYST, Kill Yourself Tomorrow. It's about 11 songs. It was going to be like
12.
It was going to be 15 songs, but then it was 12, and we just recorded it. The album went through it was recorded twice completely through.
I think we're on like Mach 3 right now.
Yeah, so this is the third round of recording it, because the first time we did it, the hard drive failed. The second time, it just wasn't. We just weren't satisfied, and then we just decided to redo it again. And now it sounds amazing. It sounds perfect to me, but like, it's just like, it's definitely every single song is pretty much just like a cover up love story of just like I don't know. It's a very like toxic album, but it's like very like, I don't know. Every time I listen to it, it's very like a very nostalgic listen. Or listen, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're already like they're so old. They're like 2-year-old songs, and like we've been playing them live, and it's like now they're finally going to be out, and now we could stop jamming the same fucking songs every time, and now we'll be able to like move on to the next chapter. So
Yeah,
KYC is good, man.
Yeah, since we've been like playing these songs for so long, and they haven't been out on like any streaming services, now that's finally coming after like our second or third round of recording them, having that like we've had high standards, and just like we're learning how to record DIY and how to play well, which like I'm glad that it's taken us this long so that we can have a better product, and that's like what it's all about. The album consists of every day after work, I would just, for like a 9-day period, I would go to Keddy's garage and record drums. Keddy would record vocals, guitar by himself, and Lefty would do his bass parts alone. And I'm lucky to say that I've been like producing it, learning how to mix, which that's taken a bit of time, but it's definitely been worth it. But yeah,
That shit was good.
Oh man. Yeah, well, that sounds super. I got to tell you one thing about when I do a program with musicians and then I have their music. I never want to talk too long before I play some, so that's kind of where the point we are right now. So we got listeners, we got some tracks from Keddies Resort, and we're going to cut to a track here, KYST, that's been mentioned. Keddies, do you want to say anything about this before we pop into this track?
Yeah, the whole song's about, I bought this I was in Astoria, or no, I was actually in Lincoln City, and I was in this fucking vintage antique shop, and they had this whole section of like old school Life magazines, and this one caught my eye, and it was like a Life magazine, and it said The Two Accused, and then it like the psychobiology of man or something like that. And so I kind of just looked at the cover, didn't even open it. I've never opened it. It's still in like the sealed plastic packaging, but I just pretty much just based the whole song off of just like the ideas that the front cover of that magazine gave me. And so it's
a Scooby-Doo mystery,
yeah,
pretty much.
It's just ridiculous. It's pretty much it's the title track off the album, but it's like I don't know. It's something. A lot of the other songs are way better than that.
Scooby-Doo, if you're listening,
that one's put out as the single to be like, yo, this one's but like when it comes out, you'll listen, you'll be like, okay, the other ones are really good. Instead of doing your best ones first,
Yeah. Let's jump into it, listeners. KYST. We'll be back with Keddies in just a little bit. That's great. Really loud over here.
Yeah.
It's a loud track. It's got to be normalized.
Yeah. I love how it's just like on the when I pull it up on the audio track, like just, how it shows like the sound waves. Like, they're all just at the
that's what mastering is for. Like a part of the like learning process of mixing. There's this thing called gain staging that's really important, and it means that like if you don't do it, the whole track will just be clipping, which adds a lot of distortion, which is good if you want it, but there are some like negative sides to it pretty much. But that's the album. It's clipping. The whole thing is really loud.
Yeah. I love that like kind of rawness when it comes to like producing and stuff, because I try to keep like some of my stuff that's like more low key, like kind of just like softer and no clipping. But sometimes like if I'm getting to a really heavy part in a song, I just say fuck it, no soft clippers, nothing, just let it get loud,
Yeah, there's ways to save that, which I had to make everything quieter, but then I didn't have that like extra like crispy like clipping on the guitars, and it just like threw off the balance of the mix. But so I decided to leave it, and Spotify might penalize the loudness, but
no, they're not gonna get a
Spotify.
Dude, you don't know. You don't know.
Potato.
But like what you said about like going like playing live, like how much heavier it sounds, and then versus like what KYST sounds like. Those are songs that came right after we got Meshach in and then started playing live. and I just noticed a real difference in like the sound change, like playing live and then wanting to like almost meet that halfway, like that energy just like sort of like infects you. And so I think the album will like sort of be an example of that, you know.
It's
like
kinda-
it'll be like an auditory onslaught, you know.
It'll sound a lot more like us live when most of the tracks on Spotify or whatever are they were before, you know, recording real drums with me and yeah, just like doing drums differently.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but like the way you go crazy on the drums, like you just go monkey mode. It's insane. It's
Dude,
insane.
monkey gorilla
warfare.
I just wanted to ask, and it's always kind of like, you know, kind of the group of you to make comments, but you know, you're performing artists. I mean, what you're talking about with your art, what you want to do is fucking getting people into the music and you know, that release and what it does for you. But what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do with your art? And do you have any art influences that you think just you dive into and show up with what you do?
I'd say first, before everything, is definitely like definitely first. I want this to be like my job, as in I'm sick of working at a fucking office. You know, it's great and all, but that'd be cool. But second of all, I just kind of want to make. I think it is just like we just want to satisfy people with like where they leave a show where like they took time out of their day to come to a show and it's like they left being like, I like those guys. I'll definitely see them again. Just have people have like a good fucking time. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, like influences like music. Like,
oh yeah, and then influences too, like fucking the Ramones. Like me and you got so many like the Ramones, Smashing Pumpkins, and not even just Smashing Pumpkins, but like a fucking Billy Corgan himself. You know, fucking Jay Retard. Waves, which we actually just got to fucking play with, which was like a dream come true. And yeah, there's so many like the Spits, King Kong and the Barbecue Show. Beck. Yeah, Beck was a big inspiration for Makita. And before the Garden kind of like popped off, I saw him in like 2016 on the Mac DeMarco This Old Dog tour, and they were at the Portland Zoo Lights. And I saw them I never heard like drum and bass before. And I heard them do drum and bass, and they woke up the monkeys. They're like, "Let's wake up the fucking monkeys!" Wah! On the mic, and all the fucking animals and the elephant, like all of them went off, and it was so surreal. And then, on like Makita, yeah, and that's why there was like fucking like DMB songs on there. So we have so many influences that like, at least I do, that like, it plays a big part. But it's not even like there's so many artists where like I'm so inspired by, and all of us are, and I think we all have the same thing. But it's like, it's not just the music that they put up, but it's a live performance. Like it's the way they like played live. That's more inspiring to me. Like music can be amazing, but the way they play live is like, that's them themselves, you know? So it's like, yeah, the Ramones, fucking Jay Retard, all that shit. Rest in peace, Jay Retard.
Shout out Stephen.
You mentioned Beck. I was just recently I was playing for Aiden some of Mellow Gold, which I adore that album because I lose my mind. Like I'm turning 51 soon, so that came out and it blew my mind then, but I didn't know why it did. Like I'm listening to it now and I'm like, holy shit. So I adored, like, I mean, I like other Beck as well, but like Mellow Gold is for me is like,
I think like Beck for us hit so hard, especially like right around the time of Makita. I think that's why it sounds, yeah.
Dude.
But like, I think for us, it was like such a good synthesis of like music and culture. Like we grew up listening to like all sorts of music, like everything from Johnny Cash to like Biggie, like Suicide Boys were just coming out around that time. Like, so all these different like genres. And then so Beck was something from days prior that was like already touching on that, like had somehow made it all work together. And like similarly, like we just would listen to it all the time and it would blow our minds, you know? So
I'll tell a quick story. I saw Beck in Providence, Rhode Island, and it was like right after Mellow Gold was released, and it was at this probably the coolest concert place named Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel was the name of it.
Nice.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
that was the name of the venue, and Beck was the headliner, but this place is 2,000 people maybe, and one of the coolest things was Beck was pretty amazing, right? Particularly in that small venue, but he had this band, and I've never seen anything like it before. It was two guys, and they were called Do Rag, and they had the percussion was they were right from the woods. The percussion was a Bud returnable box. So that was the percussion that they did. And the lead singer sang through like this distortion thing. And there was an oscilloscope that they wanted you to watch rather than him singing. It was the most wild thing. And I was like, that's so cool. Like right from the beginning, I thought, I was like, man, Beck goes to his first show. He's starting to break big, and he brings in do-rag that he probably found along the highway. So,
yeah. Well, I think, yeah. I mean, we're kind of at the point now where KYST, was, I think, a response to, playing live, a lot of that. And, of course, all the other things that go into writing personal life. But that was great. And I think we're all sort of hitting a point now where, how can we take all these other new interests that we have and digest them and spit them back out to people, which is exciting. It's a whole new endeavor, which I feel like Beck was a great person at doing that over and over again,
Have you seen the video of him playing at a festival, and he just had live musicians playing with him, and the guy, he started playing a solo in between Loser, and it was not supposed to be any, there's no solo in Loser. He does the solo, and the drummer fucks up and just keeps playing the normal beat, and Beck screams at him and shit, and he's like, "You're fucking fired! You're fucking fired!" Is that
when he's doing the slide shit?
Yeah, where he's it's like, dude, shut up, man. You're fucking 5'4", man, with a bowl cut. Shut up,
dude. Who's the fight between Beck and Mans from Radiohead?
Radiohead? They're junkies. So
Tom York versus Beck.
Beck is sober and they're junkies, dude. Yeah.
Actually, I bet Tom York does jujitsu or some shit.
I'd beat the shit out of Beck, dude. If he and Beck got in a fight, I'd beat the shit out of it. But I love Beck. But that would have to be if he was
you get him in a noogie and kiss him on the forehead.
A nookie?
No, dude.
Fred
body, all of us.
No, Fred Durst. I think me and you would be such good friends with Fred Durst. Have you seen interviews with him?
Probably.
He's great, dude. He's good vibes.
Oh man, no. I don't know what to say. I don't know how we've been led here in this conversation, but I do tell you something about Beck. As much as I love him, he looks like the kind of California kid that makes some smug remark that's a little bit too big for his size, like you were referring to. And you get this guy.
Sonic Youth is not experimental. He's like,
just fucking bass to the face.
He's like, I listen to Slint, not Sonic Youth.
I listen to Spider-Man music.
All right. So what do you think the role of art is, right? So I asked this question, and I asked this question a little bit differently now. I ask, with things going on in the world, things seem topsy-turvy, climate change, or what art is doing. Is there anything different about you as artists making art or making art now that actually is different, that art's role is different nowadays? What do you think?
I think art's different because you make anything and you put it out, and 99.9% of the time it's gonna go nowhere, and you're kind of forced now to do fucking social media shit, But I don't think it's any different in general. It's like you still make music, you still go to a studio and make music. You don't fucking do anything different in that way. I guess with bands it's different. I don't know about fucking painters and shit like that, but with music shit, it's just I think now it's all about social media and promoting and trying to beat the outrage crowd,
I think it's the same it's always been. It's just taken on a new form in that realm. But I think we consume art all the time, everything from landscapers to the designs of cereal boxes. I've spent so much time at grocery stores just looking at that, But I think there's that kind of art, consumer art, and it serves its purpose. And then there's art that we and a lot of musicians or other people are trying to make, where it's you're trying to sort of figure out something about yourself. I think at least through the art form, And then if people gravitate towards that, or like, you know, sort of understand that a little bit, then that's just like a reward on top of it. Like, you're finding other common thinkers and things, and anything bigger beyond that, like, that's just lucky. That's happenstance, you know. But at the end of the day, you're trying to figure out something about yourself and other people, you know.
It's like a certain amount of how personal you can be with yourself, and like put that into your music, and other people who recognize that. There's definitely like a market for being vulnerable. I don't think that's changed exactly. But like when people recognize how vulnerable you are, and maybe it's like a different way that people have accomplished that, that's what really stands out. But yeah, it's always been really personal.
I think being in a band now too is a lot different than being back then, because back then there was like any show with any band with like a buzz, a fucking promoter or like a scouter would be out, and they'd just find all these bands like the Vapors, who did like Turning Japanese, like those guys. They were not even a band for a full year until they got fucking signed, and then Turning Japanese was their biggest fucking song. But now you could start a fucking band, record it on your laptop on GarageBand, and then post it on a fucking subreddit, and then next thing you know, you got 1,000 monthly listeners the next day and like 1,000 listens on your song. Like there's an audience that you could, even if they don't want your music, you could just fucking spam post some forum, and 99% of them will hate you, but then you gain like so many people in different states. Like a bunch of people like I promote on fucking like Reddit all the time for our music, and our like the cities that we get through, we've never played outside of Oregon, besides Seattle one time with Waves, but like we have listens in like the UK, Australia, like all Russia. The like just fucking a lot of in Russia, and it's like the power of the internet is like so much more different now, where like you can really have the shittiest music ever. You can have horrible music, but some kid online, because you could fucking promote it on some subreddit where there's 2 million people on the subreddit, they all see it. You might get 100 likes on the subreddit, but like a lot more people saw it than anybody would ever realize. And like that's the different part of it, is like now you can really just kind of get what you want if you really just try. Back then it was kind of just luck. Now it's if you just try.
Yeah, that honestly kind of reminds me of the pachinko death metal story, where there was like some guy found this obscure like CD at like a CD record store, and then someone posted it on 4chan, and then it ended up getting like super popular. And this was after like 20 years after that it had come out, and then all of a sudden like people are saying like, oh, back together and everything, from this like obscure band from like the early 2000s that no one's heard in like almost 20 years, and now they're like back together and doing
Were you
shows.
at the Aladdin Theater show recently?
Huh?
I saw him like a couple months ago.
Really?
Aladdin Theater, yeah.
But
Can I
offer like a little bit of a different opinion on that, like to the like internet age? Because I think a lot of people like think that there's a lot more. I mean, there is a lot more, like it's easier to like get in touch with people, like that's a given. But I feel like it's still the same in the sense of like whether or not it connects with people isn't really up to the artist, you know. And like even what you're talking about, like that's like still pretty new and like modern like story, but like Van Gogh like was never recognized for anything he did until he died, like 50 years or 30 years post his death. And so I think that could just be sort of part of the game, you know. Like you just got to make your music or your art and just hope that people connect with it. If they don't, they don't, and there's the chance that they could at a later time. But I think with the idea that you can connect on the internet, it's great that people can do that, but I think it's still just a little bit of like screaming into the void. Like you got to do it for you, you know.
You got to do it for you, man. I really dig that. I'll throw the mic drop sound effect in later. No, seriously.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really important to say, because I'm an artist myself, and I talk to artists all the time now, and it's such a tough thing that there's no perfect answers, but I think there's something fundamental there in like you just got to do it. Like, you can't be like, oh, I should be recognized within 18 months or anything like that, because there's no guarantees. And I think that drive to make it is really what it comes down to. Like, you just gotta make your shit, and like, you know, and try to get it to people's ears, because if you're making it, you think there's something to it, right? Like, somebody
There's a reason why you identify with it and you wanted to make it, you know. Yeah. So somebody else has got to share that. There's somebody for everyone, right?
And I think there's like the whole power of the internet thing, but also like the biggest thing is don't say no. Like, just say yes to fucking every offer. Like, any show, if it's going to be anywhere, you're still going to gain one person that listens to you. And just play as many fucking like stand-up comedians, like half of them work 10 years to even have like a fan base.
Yeah.
And they go every night making $10. Like, hey man, I could buy a hot dog and a fucking beer now. Then I'll go home. And then tomorrow I'll do the same thing, and my dinner is going to be hot dog and a beer again.
Yeah.
For us, it's like, dude, we're literally going to like just play every single show you get offered and like to see what happens. You know, you'll gain somebody. Like, the worst case scenario, everybody hates you besides one person.
Yeah.
You got one more listener, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The show is the reward. You know?
It's intrinsic within itself. All right. So, Keddies, I can't let you off the hook with at least throwing in the big question. It's the name of the show, so I'm obligated to ask it. And I realize this might be just really throwing it in there. I don't know what's going to happen. The name of the show is Something Rather Than Nothing. The question is, why is there something rather than nothing?
Because better than something is better than nothing.
That's your new single.
Mike,
single.
Rest in peace, Jay Retard.
I think there's something, because it's like we were talking about, like sort of like intrinsic things. I think it's intrinsic in humans to like want to create, whether it's procreation, art, or whatever. Like, we have to build and expand and like leave our mark. So I think that's why there's always be something, you know.
Humans are evil, and music is of the devil.
But not just like humans, though. I mean, like, birds be like building nests and shit that'll be there for 20 years because it won't get touched by the wind or anything. Like, why did they do that? You know, there's something in them that told them to do it.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. Hey, I'm going to turn over to Aiden, and recently had interviewed Marush Mazmanyan, who's, I think, might have even worked your merch table.
That's the man.
These are all of our merch.
Yeah. But anyways, while I was doing that interview at the wonderful Lloyd Center in Portland, Oregon,
wonderful.
Aiden was there, and they kind of chuckled and were like laughing at the question, maybe annoyed with the question. I want to know, Aiden, why is there something rather than nothing?
Oh no, I've been dreading this question for so long. But I feel like I can just give it a simple answer. Just, if there's nothing, then you're depressed. You got to make something. If you're just doing nothing all the time, then it's fucking waste of your time. Do something. Be creative. You know, go outside, take a walk. I don't know, drink a beer, whatever.
Kick some
That's
rocks.
something. You know, that's something. That's my answer to that.
No, I dig it. Aiden, with their project Polybius, will be on a future episode. So Aiden will have a few cracks at the questions we have. Keddies Resort. Got a bunch of listeners, music lovers, art and philosophy lovers. Where do the people find Keddies Resort live, or where do you bop around, and where do they find you online?
Online on Instagram, Keddies Resort 777. We're on like Bandcamp, Spotify, all that shit, and then just, I think, to see us live, just if you follow the Instagram Keddies Resort 777, it's just, we play everywhere, so it's hard to say where we play. We literally play at, we'll play in like an abandoned Portland factory everywhere in Portland. Yeah. So,
but if you like the music, come to a show. Bring your girlfriend or your little brother. whatever you need, but do it.
Definitely bring your girlfriend. Girlfriends love us. Your girlfriends love us. All you your girlfriends love us. Okay.
A true comment. Hey, here's the thing, Keddies. We're going to eventually put together something rather than nothing festival. It's just an idea at this moment. And I certainly wouldn't be able to have a festival without Keddies energy. So just wanted to sink that seed.
Let's do it.
Let us know. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Absolutely. It's so great. It's so great to talk to you. Have a great conversation about art. We're recording in the summertime, and I very much look forward to seeing you live. I've seen video clips, and I see enough energy and like what's with that, and I've heard that from Aiden. So really appreciate what you do, and just listeners, check out Keddies Resort. New music coming as well. Find them on social media, and for something rather than nothing. Always love a review. You can find Something Rather Than Nothing on Instagram, all podcast stations and players, worldwide show. But really, real heartfelt thanks to Aiden Vellante on the second
Mm-hmm.
co-hosting, soon to be guest on Polybius, which is music I just adore. And Keddies, any final words?
Final words. The band name is Polybius, right?
Polybius, yes.
Polybius, let's get a show. First of all, let's get a show. Let's book a show together. Second of all,
Kill yourself tomorrow.
kill yourself tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. But the album KYST is good. But remember, if you got the KYST in you, you got the American spirit. So watch out. The man's covered in money. The Jeffersons are covered. So remember, fucking keep it real. Be yourself. Keep fucking shit up.
I'm ready for the WWE match.
Fuck
yeah, dude. Ric Flair's my dad.
Actually, people, we may be having a show here soon in a wrestling ring.
It's at a hot dog place. It's like it's like a hot dog restaurant or restaurant, whatever you call that. It's just a hot dog place at that point. And they have a wrestling rink inside.
This is a very pro wrestling podcast. Have not had wrestlers, but I am pleased to announce a future upcoming episode.
We got 3 right now.
With one of the original American gladiators from the famous show from the 1990s. Ice will be joining Something Rather Than Nothing in the future. So pro wrestling. Pro Gladiator, Keddies, look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aiden.
Again, it would be improper for me to comment.
Staring at the
what? I gave up on love and happiness a long time ago.
This is Something Rather Than Nothing.